Now that you've taken your portrait for the Kehinde Wiley project, you're going to be bringing it into Photoshop and you're going to be cutting yourself out of the background. So I'm going to show you a technique today that will help with that. First, bring your photo in. Then we're going to make it a lot easier to see the edges of yourself. So we're going to make a layer that's just yourself again, but is a different contrast so that it's easier to have Photoshop help select the edges. So what you saw that I did here is I right-clicked and I did duplicate layer, so there's a picture on top of a picture. Then I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, Levels. So my goal here is with this layer, I don't really care what the exposure looks like. I just really care about how the edges look. So that way, if I can make edges that are more high contrast, it's easier for Photoshop to help grab those. So this will work a little bit better. Now what I'm going to do is you can either choose to select the background or yourself. In either case, you're going to end up having yourself in the end. But I'm going to start by clicking on the background here. You see that it selected all the gray. My shirt was gray, so it's a little bit difficult in this area, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. You can always add to or subtract from a selection pretty easily with any other selection tool. I'm going to use the Quick Select tool now. On the top, you can click minus, or you can hold Alt on your keyboard, and I'm just holding Alt right now on the keyboard, and I'm subtracting away the area that I didn't want selected here. Now it'll snap to edges. You see that it actually unselected that area right between my hand and my neck. But I can go back in and add to that. Just continue going along here. So Alt on your keyboard subtracts from a selection. Shift adds. So I'm adding that back in. I'm adding this area in that got wasn't selected initially. I can subtract away right here, and right now I am selecting the background, but I really want to have myself selected, so I'm going to show you how to inverse that now. So after that's done, go up to Select, Inverse, so you have just yourself. Then we're going to go up to Refine Edge on the top here, and we're going to have Photoshop help us select our hair. So in View mode, on the top here, switch to black and white. And then I'm going to actually just use Photoshop's edge detection just to pump that up a little bit. I like to use contrast a little bit. And here you can easily see if you made any mistakes in some areas. Now the hair is not selected yet, so I'm going to paint that back in. Just go up on the top here and you can change your brush size. And then instead of painting my actual hair, I'm going to paint right along the edge. So I'm getting a little bit of the black there, while at the same time right along the edge of the hair, and you're going to see what happens is that Photoshop is able to select the individual hairs right along my head. So this isn't something that you do all along the edge. This is just only in areas where you had like a little bit of hair, like I've got my beard there. I'm going to add that in a little bit. Okay, so that's that way you can get a better selection. Okay, after you've done that, you hit OK. And again, this top layer was all about just getting the selection. We don't really care about this top layer. So now we'll click on the bottom layer. I can hide the top layer. And now that I've made that selection, watch the magic here. You just hit down on the bottom, layer mask, you're cut out. Now if you notice that there is a mistake here in some areas, the great thing about a layer mask is you can paint things back in. So on the layer mask, I can paint black to get things to go away, or white to bring them back. So right in here, I missed a little bit of my shirt, so I can go back in and fix that. Alright, now we're ready to start working with our background. I would love to have some more space to work with around myself in this picture. I'll still have myself on the edge of the frame because I don't want to have just myself floating in space here, but I'm going to add a little bit of space up above me. You can do that in a couple different ways. Now, Control-T on your keyboard allows you to transform yourself. If I hold Shift while I do this, I don't have this going on, as that's going to be really unusual. So hold Shift, and you can rearrange yourself on that space. Now another option is to just add more canvas. So for that, I go up to the top, I go Image, Canvas Size, I'm going to put my image on the bottom, and then I'm going to add space above. So I'm going to add some height. So I'll just go up to 60 here. You just choose what works best for your image. You can always go back in and add more if you want. But now I've got a little more space around myself. All right, next up I'm going to do a little bit of image searching here. Now when I look at Kehinde Wiley's work, there's a lot of floral patterns, bright colors. Sometimes there's frames around. I actually think that that's the frame that is around the painting. I'm going to try to replicate that in my artwork here. Kehinde Wiley is all about bringing honor to the individuals in the images, and with their posing, and also just with kind of the colors that are going on in the images. It just really is bright. It's playful. It's very honoring. So what I'm going to do is do a search. So in Google Images, you see I've already been doing some searching. Click up here, select what it is that you're going to look for, and then I'll do some floral patterns here. In the tools area, you want to switch it to large, and then you can simply pick out an image that you think would be good to have in the background. Pay attention because some of these might have a little bit of that little area that's covering over it that prevents you from seeing what's behind it, a watermark type thing. So if it has that, you can just find a different one. Drag that onto your desktop, bring it into Photoshop. You've got yourself a layer. You've got a transform going on right now on the image. So I'm just making that pattern large enough to fill the background. Depending on the resolution of your image, it may end up being a little bit harder to fill the space. So your objective in this assignment is to bring in a few different elements along with yourself that you've cut out. So I'm going to bring in a frame next. You can resize it using the transform tool. And then after you've done that, just like we did with ourselves, you can cut out things that you don't want. So in this case, I'm going to be cutting out that white space that is in the way. Using the same method as before, you can select what you don't want, inverse it, and then do a layer mask. And we're on our way to continue the artwork here. Have fun!